Hi guys, this video is going to be me making a mod for Fallout 3. Those of you who've been watching my Fallout 3 Let's Play have heard me talk about a mod I would like to make, and I promised I would video the process so you can see how it's done. Now this mod is very simple. It should only take me a few minutes to make. It's about the simplest mod I could possibly make. In fact, I don't think I've ever made a mod as simple as the one I'm going to make now. The only mod that would be simpler would be a mod that adds items to the game or something like that. This is pretty simple, so it shouldn't be that hard to follow. Now, basically what this mod does is it automatically gives you perks when you get to a certain level in one statistic. If any of you have used the Ultimate Perk Pack, it has an experience perk pack where, for example, after you've disabled 100 mines, you automatically get the Light Step perk, and so on. There's a few others, very cool ones, not very overpowered, but once you've done something so often that it's second nature, you get a perk that gives you a little boost. And there used to be a mod somewhere, I can't find it anymore, that gave you the Lawbringer perk once you got a karma of a certain level. And I liked that because I don't like having to use a perk just to open up a kind of quest line, so to speak. So I couldn't find it, so I've decided to make it myself. And I'm going to make it a little bit more comprehensive in that if you get 750 plus karma, you will get the Lawbringer perk automatically. And if you drop below minus 750, you will get the Contract Killer perk automatically. Pretty simple stuff. Now I'm going to be using the GECK and nothing else for this. I'm running the GECK with Fallout Script Extender enabled. Don't worry if you don't know how to do that because it's not necessary for this mod. However, the Fallout Script Extender does give you full instructions on how to do that. Now this mod is, as I said, very, very simple indeed. The only two things it requires are the player, which is an actor. There we are, the player. You need the player reference, and you need the perks you're going to use. Now you can see the perks don't come as part of the game, unfortunately. The perks are part of the Fallout 3 ESM. So I'm going to have to load one of the data files, the Fallout 3 ESM. This is required for the mod I'm going to make. Some people think that you need that for every mod. That is not true. I have several mods that have no master file whatsoever because they do not use anything except the player status to control things. Things like my iHood mods on Fallout and Fallout New Vegas do not require the Fallout 3 ESM. Now, this takes a little while and it will sort of look like it's stopped responding, but it hasn't. It's just loading the data. There you go. And the perks I'm going to need are Lawbringer and Contract Killer. And I'm going to need their names as they are written in this editor ID. As you can see, if I click on the perk on the object window, Contract Killer. If I double click this, it gives me the full perk information. I'm not going to touch it. I don't need the name. This here, I need the ID. You'll notice it's the same as the name, except it doesn't have any spaces. So that's what I need. I need to know that. And that really is about it. The rest of this mod, well, the entirety of this mod is going to involve scripts. And to run a script, you almost always need a quest with which to run said script. So, well, this is the usual way to do it. So I'm going to make a quest first of all, so I can add a script, and I'm going to click on quests in the object window, go along to this panel here and right click anywhere and hit new. I'm going to give my quest a name and I'm going to call it Automatic Karma Perk Quest, because that's what I'm going to call it, the Automatic Karma Perk. I'm probably going to come up with a better name than that, but I'm fairly bad at this. Now actually I don't need a name for this quest, I need an ID. There we go. I'm going to leave priority completely blank. Doesn't need anything at the moment. And I'm going to click Start Game Enabled. And then I'm going to click OK. I now have Automatic Karma Perk Quest. So that's the start. Now if I double click it again, you'll notice a few more things, like the priority has got 0 now. Script processing delay default. I'm going to leave this. Basically, this is how often the script that gets selected here is run while in game. And On certain mods you want the script to be run like 30 times a second, sometimes you want it run once a day, etc. I don't really care. I'm going to leave it as the default. That means the game decides how often it updates this script. It really isn't that big a deal. And I'm going to, again, leave start game enabled. Now I need a script, but of course, so far I haven't made one. So I'm going to start that by clicking here. This gives me a script window, and I need to go to Script, New, and immediately change the script type to Quest. I now need to give it a script name, so I'm going to type SCN. This means script name, and I'm going to call it Automatic Karma Perk Script. And that's it. That is now the start of my script. I'm also going to type begin, game mode, and then end. I'm going to move these down a little bit. This is the name of my script. This here is the block that I'm going to do my script in. Basically what this tells this script is everything between here and here is to be run whenever the script is updated whilst in game mode. That means anytime you're not in a menu or a dialogue. Right, actually I'm not sure about dialogue. I think dialogue classifies as menu. That would be menu mode. Well, we just want it in game mode for now. So that's it. The structure of the script is pretty much done. Now, what we want to do inside this script is fairly simple. We want to do a quick check, first of all, to see if player dot get AV and karma is greater than 750. And I'm going to end if do something. So this is if player.karma get actor value karma is greater than 750. If I'd say, well, let's make it greater than equal. No, greater than 750. You've got to be good. You've got to be good. But I also want to make it and player dot has perk, and then it was Lawbringer, was it not? Equals 0. Now, what that does, I'm going to put some brackets around these things to separate them out a little bit. It's not strictly speaking necessary, but I like to do this just to make sure I can see quickly. This one says if the player's karma is over 750 and the player does not have the Lawbringer perk. If he does not have the Lawbringer perk, do something. Likewise, I'm going to copy this and paste it. If the player's karma is less than minus 750 and Contract Killer, and the perk Contract Killer is 0, do something else. So as you can see, when this comes through, it quickly checks if the player has greater than 750 karma and does not have the Lawbringer perk, do something. If the player is less than minus 750 karma and does not have the Contract Killer perk, do something else. Now the final thing is to actually do something, and we're going to go in here and I'm going to do player.add perk Lawbringer, and likewise I'm going to add player.add perk Contract Killer. And it's pretty much as simple as that, actually, in this particular case. I'm going to save this. And when I save this and then close it, it's automatically compiled. So it now knows, it's now compiled. If it hadn't have worked, it would have failed. Let us, now it's not detecting this at the moment. I'm going to click OK again and then reopen the perk quest. And this time, there it is, automatic karma perk script. And again, I can just edit this. I'll give you an idea of what would happen if it didn't compile. I'm going to remove that space. This now should throw an error. If I save, it tells me the unknown variable function has perk Lawbringer because I've not got a space. So I'm going to, I don't want to ignore it. Do you want to exit the program? No. Put it back again. Space. Save. No problem. And that's it. that mod is pretty much done. Click OK now and save. Of course, I now need to give it a name. I may come up with a better name. You may suggest one for me. Automatic Karma perk, and then it'll add ESP automatically. Automatic Karma perks, because there's 2 of them, and save. And that's it. The ESP is made. The mod is made. As I said, it's about as simple a mod as you can get. As long as you understand the basics of how the GECK works and have some minimal ability to do scripting, it's that easy. It's not a very good scripting language, I must tell you now. This is a fairly appalling scripting language in my opinion. The new scripting language for Skyrim is much better, although the Skyrim scripting engine is fundamentally flawed in several horrific ways, if you ask me, as it does allow you to break the game very, very easily, and not intentionally. Whereas the Fallout 3 scripting engine gave you a lot more power, but at the same time it was very difficult for you to crash things accidentally. You'd have to really go out of your way. So anyway, but as you can see, it's a fairly ugly script. Still, it works. And that's it. Oh, last thing, of course, close down this and, of course, open your Nexus Mod Manager or Fallout Mod Manager or whatever you're using to manage your mods, and make sure that ESP is now selected. Because just because you've made it does not mean it has been added. There you go. It's now in my load order. And once in game, if you've got the required karma, just wait a few seconds, and please ignore the gunfire over there. As you can see, I've now got a note added for the regulators, which obviously means I'm a bit of a goody two-shoes. And when I check my stats, perks, sure enough, Lawbringer. Pretty easy. Now, you can actually improve the mod slightly. So, for example, if I go along to the perk and look at the Lawbringer, you can see straight away level 14. So this perk shouldn't really be an option until level 14. And you can in fact check that. So let's add that now. Go along to the quest. It's easy to do it through the quest. You can actually go to scripts and do it, but we may as well, since it's right next to perk. Click here and then add. I am going to basically do the following. I'm going to do if player.getLevel is less than 14, return end if. For the programmers out there will recognize the guard pattern straight away, but basically what you're doing here is every time it comes in, if the player isn't at least level 14, it just leaves immediately. So I'm going to save that just to make sure it was compiling. So if you're less than 14, it doesn't even go into here, it doesn't even bother, skips straight out, which is a nice little check to get to stop that from happening too early. Now, you can play with this. Maybe you think to yourself, you know what, I like that perk and I want to get it earlier. I'm playing with a lot slower leveling because I'm using something like Fallout Wanderers Edition, and I want to have this perk at level 10. And that's perfectly reasonable as well. If you get to level 10, you'll get the perk. And there you go. I'm going to make it level 10 actually. I like the idea of getting the perk early. And one other thing, as I said to you, you can let the engine decide how often to update this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to now turn off the default, and I'm going to make it update every 60 seconds. So that's once a minute. So this script very, very rarely gets run. You could probably actually kick that up to, I don't know, 600 or something. It's completely up to you. You could get it to, because this is not something you need to be checked very often. So I'm going to have this check once a minute. So when I finally get the karma, I might not immediately get the note. It might be a minute later. So just a small tweak there. I don't think it will affect performance because as this was a lightweight script and the system was told to use whatever the default is, which is fairly slow anyway, this is probably not going to help. Don't think setting this to 60 is suddenly going to reduce the impact of this mod. This mod had almost no impact, negligible. You wouldn't notice it on your frame rate, for example. But anyway, just for my own peace of mind, I like to know all my scripts are running as little as possible. And that's it. Basically, but little tweaks here and there. And you've got a mod.